in Zimbabwe, they are essentially premised on the constitution of the nation in terms of Section 65 and even our Labor Act. So legally, they are protected. But the challenge is around the practical side of those rights. And worse off with the new COVID pandemic, it has brought its own set of challenges around the rights to organize and the right to health and a safe workplace. Particularly because we represent workers who do precarious work, who work with obnoxious waste, and we have a bit of challenges in that there is no enough information about the rights of workers to be tested or not to be tested, and there's no enough information around the testing of such workers. So the right to safety and health inside this pandemic is quite compromised. There are no deliberate mechanisms to protect frontline workers who deal with both solid and liquid waste. So while there is a legal framework that says workers have a right to a safe and healthy workplace, but in terms of the practical side, it is difficult. It is even more difficult because in our sector, which is the local government sector, we largely represent workers who work in the urban local authorities, which are 32 of them in Zimbabwe. So the challenge is that we don't have a unified negotiating platform. We are working on establishing one now, working with the council with the association of all the councils in the country. But currently, our collective bargaining is fragmented, it's city by city. Like you alluded in your opening remarks, that we have different regimes in different countries. So we have that kind of fragmented negotiation. So another city may be responding a little bit better to the pandemic and to the issues and to the rights of workers. But in other cities, even the right to collective bargaining is threatened because like it was alluded in the opening remarks that some of those comrades who run our cities are not quite conversant with the labor laws and even with industrial relations. So sometimes they can even refuse to engage workers, which leaves workers with very few options. And so we have seen quite a few spontaneous strikes. And sometimes the employer responds by actually dismissing union leaders and our local worker leaders. So it actually speaks to violation of the rights of workers in that context. And I want to speak to the issue of vaccination because it is the most topical issue now. We are now having other employers who are saying if you are not vaccinated, they will not allow you to report for duty. But the workers don't have enough information to make an informed decision on whether or not they want to be vaccinated. And then it's a dual sword because we have workers who are vaccinated also, who are saying, if you are going to bring people who are not vaccinated to the work, we think that we may not come to work because our own health is under threat. So that is an area that is quite difficult for us. We are advocating that there be enough infection and prevention control literature and teaching and training to the working class, to those who work in councils, so that they may be able to make informed decisions. as we are dealing with this COVID pandemic and other pandemics that befall us from time to time. Recently, we had Cyclone Idai. Obviously, we have emergency workers in our sector. They are the ones who are expected to respond to all these pandemics. So they are protecting lives at the risk of their own lives. And the right to health and safety, where people end up responding and doing this work without proper protective clothing. For our nurses, for those who deal with waste, like I alluded to earlier on, we have a challenge around their protection in terms of health and safety. So while the labor laws give those rights, but they are taken away by the reality on the ground. So in order to address those challenges, we are engaged in a campaign, because there's also the issues of violation and harassment at work. So we are pushing that at national level. A Convention 209 and Convention 190 of ILO be ratified by our government. And at sector level, we are pushing for the establishment of a collective National Employment Council, where we have a dedicated team that negotiate the conditions of employees across all the 32 urban local authorities. So this is work in progress, but that's what we are doing to try and achieve a safe working environment and to make sure that workers' rights are protected. Because of lack of this knowledge that I'm talking about, in some cases you see even summary dismissals, indiscriminate dismissals happening at different local authorities. So these are matters around labor rights that we are seized with currently. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope I've managed to speak to a few issues that affect us. I could not speak about all of them, but because of the time I have, but if there are any matters of clarity, I am available to clarify them, hoping I'm clear. Thank you very much.